How's it going, guys? Now, today we're going to be doing Amazing Spider-Man issue 699, and I know I'm like a week late because I got the comic like last week, but I kind of forgot to put it on the computer, and I just sort of did it now. So, here, as you can see by the cover, we've got like Doc Ock's brain in the background made out of Dr. Octopus's tentacles, and then it's Spider-Man with Doc Ock. So we go to the first page and we pick up right where issue 698 left off, which is where basically Doc Ock died, and since Peter is in Doc Ock's body, Pete died, basically. And the team the team of doctors, should I say, are trying to bring him back to life, and they're basically going all out and like doing everything they can to save him. And one of the doctors is having second thoughts like, why are we trying to save this guy? He almost blew up the city and stuff, but they made like a pact or whatever to say that they've got to, no matter who it is, they've got to save their lives. And Doc Ock looks like an onion, by the way, but whatever. And I think a doctor spits on him. Yeah. And then it comes up saying it's Peter Parker, and I have no idea how I'm getting out of this one. He's pretty good. So he's trapped in Doc Ock's body, and he's in like one of the most advanced security prisons in the world, probably underground, underwater, and under the highest like security ever. And he's surrounded by every single villain he's put away, basically. And since Peter's trying to figure out how he did it, and he's like thinking, and here we go to Peter, Doc Ock in Peter's body, and he looks more evil than he did in issue 698. Why does Peter look so evil? It's really weird. Doc Ock in Peter's body. So he's saying how he's got all his memories and he's got his life, and how Peter, the real Peter, is stuck in that dying body, and he's never going to reveal his greatest trick. Now, Peter in Doc Ock's body is really he thinks it's really bad because he's going around with his face, and like he's scared of what he's going to do. So he's scared that he's going to rob a bank as Spider-Man, and because he's part of the Avengers, he can get the drop on any of the superheroes like Captain America. Like, here we got him snapping his neck, or doing something to Mary Jane, or poisoning a drink for his Aunt May, or something like that. So he's trying to think of what on earth Doc Ock did to him, and since Doc Ock is in Peter's body and he has all access to all his memories, maybe Peter has access to all of Doc Ock's memories. So Pete like searches through Doc Ock's memories. He felt that like sharp stinging after his dad hit him or something. Whoops, I just kind of moved my mouse by mistake. Just wait for it to go away. And then we go on to the next page, and he sees how Doc Ock got his arms, which is from the explosion of that what's it called, science at Oscorp, and how this is Spider-Man in this picture is actually the actual Peter, like the real Peter. And then he sees something about Aunt May, which is kind of weird, but whatever, we'll just skip past that. So Peter in Doc Ock's body is just gonna pretend that it didn't happen, and then he finds out that this scene here is where Doc Ock found out that he was gonna die about a year ago, and that's when he's tried taking over the city with his mind. If you remember in issue 600, then Peter put that helmet on to fix everything, and then after Spider Island, he did it again, and then last time he fought Doc Ock used his own spider armor against him, and every single time Peter used that spider armor, he was giving access to his he was giving Doc Ock access to his memories, and that's how he got access to his mind. So I actually knew that, by the way. Like, ever since Dan Slott said on Twitter that there's a link between issue 600, I just knew it. Like, what else could there be to his mind, seriously? So Peter is just like still going through his memories and like searching for like a robot, saying how Doc Ock was planning it for ages, and then there was actually an Octobot thing in issue 697 when Peter was fighting the Hobgoblin, or two Hobgoblins. And if you remember, he had to ignore his spider sense, didn't he? Because that thing was like blasting his spider sense, like so that it was basically his spider sense was going off to like germs on a desk and stuff. So he had to ignore his spider sense, and while he was ignoring it, an Octobot like zapped to the back of his head or whatever, and basically rewrote his brain to Doc Ock's brain patterns, and put Peter's in Doc Ock's body. So now he's stuck there. So now he's looking for like an Octobot that works because he can control it with his mind, and then he finds one, and it's the very last Octobot that's there, the very last one. So and then he finds out he can talk, and then someone's saying like his name or whatever, and we go back to the cell, and it's actually the lizard in the cell next to him back at the security prison. And the lizard hasn't said anything about this, but he hasn't spoke or told anyone about this, but it turns out that it's actually Doc Ock, not Doc Ock, Dr. Connors in the lizard's body. So instead of him being the lizard, it's basically Dr. Connors, like his own mind, but he's trapped in the lizard's body. So the cure works. So from issue, what was it? Issue 691, issue 692, something like that. You know, like where at the end of that issue where the lizard got put in prison, but he didn't tell Spider-Man that the cure worked. He actually did. So he tells Doc Ock, and since Peter is Doc Ock, he now knows that the lizard is like actually Dr. Connors and is no harm to anyone. And the lizard told him because Doc Ock's only got like a few hours to live, and nobody knows that it's actually Peter Parker. So yeah. And so he's got to focus on this Octobot because he's only got a few hours to live, and he's thinking about going to the Avengers, but he can't because nobody will believe him. So he's thinking and thinking and thinking, and he's saying, what would Dr. Octopus do? So he's going through like all the secret plans he's got. So he's got like, what's he got? He's got doomsday weapons, teleportation pads, trapdoors, holograms, robot doubles, and all that. And then he finally gets to a plan that's actually good. And I think he sneaks into the Daily Bugle there. It kind of looks like it with the Octobot. And he goes onto the computer, and he sends a message to some of his villain buddies for a plan, and he's happy to place $6 million into their accounts or whatever. And then so that message got sent to his villain friends, and then the Octobot like died out. It stopped working basically. So now he's got to wait and wait and wait and wait, and apparently one of his organs just failed, so he's still waiting, and then he dies. Well, he don't die, he just sort of like, he passes out or something, and then the doctors are alerted by this, and they find out that it's Dr. Octopus again, so they're like, oh no, and then they've got to wash their hands, and when they turn the tap on, no other than Hydro Man comes out of the tap. So obviously that message that Pete sent through the computer worked. So all these villains have come to save him and get him out. And Hydro Man's got one of these like things where if you put it together it creates a portal, and he's bringing Scorpion and the Trapster through, and they're all saving Peter, pretty much Doc Ock, who is Peter. And now Peter's having second thoughts because he's basically killed loads of people by making the villains break him out. And Pete's saying how he remembers the Trapster because he called himself Paste Pot Pete, and he couldn't fight him because he was laughing so much. That's funny. Man, look at Doc Ock there. Well, Peter, it's like spewing up. So he's hooked onto a life support machine, and basically the plan was to free the Sinister Six and Scorpion and Doc Ock. I didn't know the Trapster was part of the Sinister Six, and I didn't know Hydro Man was part of the Sinister Six either, but whatever. So they're saying that they're going to break out other guards, not guards, basically their friends. So he's saying no because he doesn't want any more people being broken out. Then we get Morbius in the background being all merciful, like, oh, save me, help me, and all this. So obviously he's letting him rot because he hurt one of Peter's friends. And Morbius is actually having a new comic book come out, and actually today, which is the 13th of December, issue 699.1 of Amazing Spider-Man comes out, where Morbius actually breaks out, I think, and that's the start of Morbius's comics. So Doc Ock, because Peter is now like, because he knows that the Lizard is actually Dr. Connors, he wants Lizard to be freed, but the Lizard acts like the Lizard, not Dr. Connors, to fool everyone, so that look, like the Trapster is like mindless beast. So here's the Lizard just like turning his back, and then they head out, and then Peter has only got a few hours to live, so they just go straight back to this place, and he can't believe that he's actually freed all these people, and they're like asking when they get paid and everything, and then he says there's one more thing. So he goes, oh yeah, you want us to bring Spider-Man, dead or alive? And then he says, alive, he definitely needs him alive. So here it says next 700 minutes to live, and that's only like hours on end in it. So yeah, that was a really, really great issue. I loved how how the plan was set out. Like, even though it was pretty obvious that when Dan Slott said that it was from issue 600, and basically the only way to access Pete's brain was by that helmet, I thought that was really good. Like, I don't know. Dan Slott's been the end of Spider-Man. This is probably. I hope they don't kill him, is what I'm saying, because they killed Ultimate Spider-Man, and like, why can't they just have Spider-Man end happily for once instead of like killing him or taking away the powers or something like that? Why can't something good happen? Like, why can't I have a happy ever after? Whatever. But yeah, so thanks for watching, guys, and I might be I think I'm going to get in issue 699.1 tomorrow, so I'll probably upload a video then as well. And issue 700 comes out on Boxing Day, 26th of December, the day after Christmas, if the world doesn't end. So yeah, thanks for watching. Remember to like and comment, and if you want to see more videos like this, then hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you later.